This video demonstrates how to properly install rooted containerized plant materials at a restoration site. The type of container selected for your particular site should be based on your site access, access to water, soil conditions, and available equipment.
So we're at Mill Creek doing some revegetation planting. This is an area that was cleared in the winter of 2013. So we're going to be out here planting some more native species. We have a few here. We're going to be planting more than this, but we've got some saltbush in different types of containers and some cottonwoods. This is a tall pot. It's going to be used to get down a little bit closer to that capillary fringe. This is a 1 gallon container size. This is a book flat. These are all saltbush. This is a cone, and this is another 1 gallon. These are all planted in different areas. These kind of give us an age variety. This is going to be used for a longstem planting, which we'll talk about. This is a 1 gallon rooted cottonwood. The longstem technique lets you bury it really deep, and we can bury this all the way up to here. What that allows you to do is it allows roots to come out this entire stem. Also, it gets you down close to the capillary fringe, so that means that this is going to be staying wet all the time. We like to plant these in the spring or the fall. That means it's going to be a little cooler, there may be more moisture in the air, and also the water table is going to be at its lowest. So that doesn't mean if you were to plant it in the summer when the water table is high or something, you know, you're going to plant it, you're going to find the capillary fringe, and then it's going to go away. And as soon as that goes away, it's going to die. So what we're going to do is we're going to dig a nice big deep hole. We're going to plant it up to here, water it in really well, and it's going to allow roots to come off this entire stem, and it should survive pretty well. So as you can see with this hole, I can stick this cottonwood in pretty deep, and that's just going to allow it to root all the way up until it hits the soil level. This longstem planting technique works really well for a lot of the woody riparian species. We'll use it for cottonwoods, willows, three-leaf sumacs, privets, river birch. So a lot of those species it works great for. All right, so this is a cottonwood we just planted. A couple things to remember when you're backfilling is you really want to make sure that there's no air spaces, big dirt clods, big rocks that are going to create air spaces. So as you're backfilling, really compact things down, break up any big clods, maybe try to get rid of some of the rocks. It's just going to help the tree grow a lot better. If there's air, it's not going to grow through air. You know, it needs dirt. So after we backfill, we like to make a nice ring around it. It's going to keep any water in, like right over the tree. In case it rains later, this will help trap that water. The last step that we're going to do is we're going to cover this with mulch. It's going to help keep the moisture in, it's going to help keep weeds down. We'll just make sure that we leave a little bit of a ring so it doesn't actually touch the stalk here, the stem. Alright, so here we have 2 more containers. This is a 1 gallon saltbush, this is a tall pot. These are going to be some more upland species, so they can be planted a little bit drier. Basically we'll just put them in pretty much at the soil level, and they should do pretty well. This tall pot, if you knew where your groundwater was and if you had a species that needed to reach that capillary fringe, this could be a really good option. It just gives you a little bit more length of your root. It also has a longer root development, which could be good for some species. Alright, so here we're planting a 1 gallon little pot. This one we're going to plant at ground level, so we want the root ball, the soil here in the container to be at the soil level on the surface here. So we have our hole dug. We're going to just kind of fit it with it in the pot. I think it looks pretty good. There's also plenty of space around the root ball here, so it's going to be able to grow nice and easy. You don't want it too compact or it's going to have a hard time making new roots out of this pot here. So we'll take it out, break this up a little bit, start backfilling around it, making sure that there's no air spaces, breaking up all the clumps that we can. Make a little berm, we'll add water, that's that. So here's a book flat. We're going to take these saltbush and put them in. We're going to use what's called a dibbler. This book flat here is a really good option if you're in the backcountry or need to carry a lot of plants. The first thing I'm going to do is just dunk these in water. That way they're wet when they go into the ground. I won't have to worry about it too much later. Just get them good and wet. Set them aside. I'll make a little hole. Take one out of the book flat, put it in, and these we're going to want to plant right at about the ground level. So you can go ahead and shove dirt in there, get all that air pocket out, try to make it as firm and compact as you can. Make a little basin around it if you can, and go ahead and add more water. that's that.